my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about some of my most anticipated releases of 2025. And these are all going to be from authors that I already know and have enjoyed books from in the past, because that is all my brain can take. And these are also book releases that I know about at this time, because I do tend to miss things even when they're authors that I've read before. Like, something always surprises me, which is part of the fun, but for now, I have 7 books that I know about that we are going to talk about today. I will have the content warnings I can find linked down below in the description, along with links to some resources, and let's go ahead and get into it. And we are going to go in order of their supposed release date, starting with the Broposal by Sonora Reyes. And this follows our main character, who has purposefully never fallen in love before, and he's coming to learn that the reasons why that is may be because of his fears of looking inward. Whether that be his sexuality or his anxiety surrounding being undocumented in an increasingly hostile environment. Which brings us to his roommate and best friend, who is stuck in a relationship with a woman who wants him to ditch our main character and marry her. And when she forces the decision on him, he ends up breaking up with her, and when our main character loses the job who promised to sponsor his work visa, his roommate asks him to marry him, but neither of them are prepared for the very real feelings that begin to stir up. Which sounds like best friends to lovers to me, and I need more of that in my life. This book came out on January 21st, which is going to be before when this video ends up coming out, and one of my favorite books of 2022 was The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School by Sonora Reyes. And I also own and hope to read the Luis Ortega Survival Guide very soon, because one of those books I know was amazing, and the other one I've heard amazing things about. And this book, The Broposal, it sounds amazing just based off of its description. And yes, I am hoping that it's going to give me all the best friends to lovers that I could ever want and need in my life, but the relationship also does sound like it is going to be complex. Whether that's just the panic of falling in love, or the very scary real-world things surrounding our main character in terms of his undocumentation. And based off of Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, I suspect this book is going to have some really sad moments and angst amongst a lot of joy that will send me on an emotional roller coaster that I will end up thinking about forever, which is great, honestly. I could easily see this book being a huge favorite for me. And next we have Oathbound by Tracy Deonn, which is the 3rd and final book of the Legendborn cycle. And Legendborn follows our main character Bree Matthews, who after the death of her mother is accepted into a residential program at UNC. And it seems like it's going to be a good escape from everything that is going on with her until she witnesses an attack by a magical creature during her first night on campus. This attack introduces her to a secret society of Legendborn, who are individuals who hunt down these creatures, and it also introduces her to a powerful mage who is calling himself Merlin. This mage attempts to wipe Bree's memory of what she saw that night, however his failure to successfully do so unlocks Bree's own magic and a hidden memory of the night her mother died. Bree then has to decide how far she is willing to go to get the truth. And Oathbound is scheduled to come out on March 4th, which is good because it's part of my winter TBR this year, and I am so excited for this book. I am excited to see the characters again and just really get fully thrown back into the story and all of its fantasy, romance, magic, and real-world themes. Because I do think that they have an amazing balance of all of their themes and genres, and I just love the way that it all comes together. Like, this is another one of those series that truly does feel like it's on another level to me entirely in terms of quality. And speaking of my favorite books of 2022, Bloodmarked, which is the middle book, was one of those. And Legendborn was on that list in 2021, and I really want and need for Oathbound to make my favorites list in 2025. And next up, we have Love at Second Sight by F.T. Lukens. And this follows our main character, who after changing high schools to a school that's filled with kids with cool supernatural powers, just wants to lay low, which shouldn't be too hard as he is a human. But then he has a clairvoyant vision of a girl being murdered from the POV of the killer, and he finds himself at the center of attention for the first time ever, as powerful supernatural families try to court him and his gift. Our main character is going to have to work with his friends, both new and old, to stop the murder from happening before the next person murdered is himself. This one is set for April 29th, and I am very behind on my F.T. Lukens books. And by that I mean I am 2 books behind at the moment, but I really loved and enjoyed In Deeper Waters and So This Is Ever After. They were both super adorable and fun with angst that made my heart hurt, and I feel like this one is probably going to be a little bit different than those two. Because just based on like general vibes, it does feel a little bit more like Spellbound to me, which is one of the ones that I haven't read yet. But based on the cover of Love at Second Sight, I feel like I am really going to love the vibes here, which is like the pink and the green and the purple color combination. It's giving me like a Halloween aesthetic that I really love, so hopefully the atmosphere of this book matches that cover. Because if it does, I think me and this book are going to get along very well. It's also a murder mystery, which could be either hit or miss for me, but I probably am going to read this in the fall, so it is more likely to hit. The title is also Love at Second Sight, so I am assuming that there is romance in here somewhere, which based off of the other two books I've read from this author, I am very much looking forward to that as well. And next we have Love in Focus by Lyla Lee, and this follows our main character after her boyfriend of 7 years breaks up with her, and she is a relationship advice columnist. And she is now convinced that real love doesn't exist, as she has never had any luck with either women or men. However, when she gets paired up with a world-renowned photographer for a potentially career-saving piece on modern love who could also be the perfect collaborator and rebound. The only problem is that this photographer is the ex who broke her heart back in college. And as they struggle to keep their relationship professional, our main character has to decide whether she can trust her to feel the same way this time around. This one comes out May 25th, and I am very excited about this. I really loved Flip the Script by Lyla Lee. It was adorable and so much fun. I think it's actually one of my favorite romance books that I've ever read, and it put me in such a good mood, and I really need that in 2025. So I am very excited for the romance in this book. It's also a second chance romance, which should make the dynamic in the relationship interesting and complex. The dates in Flip the Script were also so incredible, so I am very excited for any dates and or any moments that these two have with one another. And I'm also just excited for any focus on writing and or photography that they want to give me here. I'll Be the One by Lyla Lee is also currently on my 2025 TBR, and I am very much hoping that both of these books leave me feeling as happy as Flip the Script did. Next we have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna, and this follows our main character who was once one of the most powerful witches in Britain. And then she resurrects her great aunt, befriends a somewhat villainous talking fox, and ends up exiled from her magic guild. So now she helps her aunt run an inn where she deals with quirky guests, general shenanigans, and that talking fox, all while longing for the magical future that she lost. And when she learns about an old spellbook that could potentially restore her magic, she turns to the only historian that may be able to help her solve its mysteries, who also happens to be her one-night stand from a few years ago. And while dealing with all of this is a lot for anyone, our main character is about to discover that she doesn't have to do it all alone. I am so excited for everything about this. The Secret Society of Irregular Witches was one of my favorite books that I read in 2024. I love the found family, the romance, and all of the commentary and character growth, and this sounds like it's going to go down a very similar path. I am super excited for the magic and the hopefully cozy inn vibes, and I am also so excited to get to know this newfound family and its members. And again, based off of the Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I feel like I am going to really love the romance, and whatever commentary and character growth about not having to do things alone is in here. I do believe the release date of this book got changed to July 15th, 2025, which, if that's true and it stays that way, that is my birthday, which also does add another level of excitement to this book for me, and I can't currently think of a better book to share this date with. Next we have the Build a Boyfriend Project by Mason Deaver, and this follows a journalist who gets the professional break that he's been looking for in the form of a man who desperately needs to learn how to date. However, it isn't long before real feelings begin to derail not only his professional career, but also the relationship that he never knew he wanted. This one is scheduled for August 5th, and it's been a while since I've read a book from this author, but I did really like I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver and the romance there, and I thought that it had some really beautiful moments. And this one sounds cute with maybe like some fake dating that could potentially lead into some good angst. I do think that that potential angst is actually what I am looking forward to the most about this, but I also do need to be into the romance for that to work for me, so hopefully it does. And finally, we have Espíritu by Aiden Thomas, which is the sequel to Cemetery Boys. And Cemetery Boys follows our main character who wants to prove that he is a real brujo to his family who have problems accepting his gender. Due to this, he and his cousin perform the needed ritual themselves as they set out to free the ghost of his cousin who was recently murdered. However, instead of his cousin, he accidentally summons the ghost of his high school's bad boy, and left with little choice, our main character agrees to help him find out what happened to him, but the more time that they spend together, the less that our main character wants him to go. And Cemetery Boys was my favorite book of 2021, the Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas was my favorite book of 2022, and its sequel, Celestial Monsters, was my favorite book of 2024. So I am hopefully seeing a lovely little pattern here that this book will also end up following. And I am so excited to see these characters again. I love all of the relationships and the banter here, and also just the characters individually. I also really love the atmosphere. I did in fact read Cemetery Boys in the fall, and it gave me everything that I could have ever asked for in terms of that. And also just in terms of anything, and yeah, this one's pretty simple actually. Cemetery Boys is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is its sequel. And I'm also just going to be excited for any time that I get to read Aiden Thomas's writing style in general. At the time I'm filming this, it is coming out September 19th, and I am so excited and so curious to see where this sequel is going to take the story. I desperately need this to be good, and I have zero reasons to think that it won't be right now. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!